friends, welcome to my English classroom. I am your English teacher Sheikh Rafi. Today in this video I am going to start the very first unit for you from your English textbook. In this unit you have 3 readings. First, A reading, Peace and Harmony. B reading, it is a poem, I Want Peace. And C reading, again another story with the title Grand Contest in the Forest. So without delaying, let us start the very first lesson. Before starting the lesson, I want all of you to take your textbooks and have a pen or pencil ready in your hands. Now look at the textbook. The name of the lesson is Peace and Harmony. Now, at the very outset, let us understand the meaning of peace and harmony. Peace means a time or a situation without any quarrelings or fights or wars. Whereas harmony means living together peacefully. So, overall meaning of the lesson is living together without any fights, quarrelings or wars. Right? Let us see page number 1. Look at the picture and discuss the questions that follow. They have given you a picture there and you can see all the animals sitting there together. They have given 2 questions under the picture. The first question is, what does this picture tell you about the animals? Now when we see at the picture, we understand that all the animals have gathered in one place. They are sitting and discussing some issue. See the second question. Are they happy or unhappy? How do you know? Now, how do we know whether a person is happy or not? By looking at his face or by looking at his gestures. Now, when we look in the picture, we find that all these animals are looking serious. They have gathered in one place and it seems some important discussion is going on among the animals. So we can say that these animals are not happy. So let us read the lesson and try to find out what is happening among these animals. See page number 1, A reading. Read the following story and answer the questions that follow. Once upon a time, in a very thick forest, there lived many birds, animals, snakes and insects. They all lived together happily. They roamed about the jungle and played together in the open fields without any fear. The peacocks were very proud of their dances, but admired the melodious songs of the cuckoos. The elephants enjoyed watching the fish swimming in the pool. The pythons, which were blessed with the long bodies, spoke well of the fine fur of the flat-footed rabbits. The tiny ants, which were always busy, tickled the dark buffaloes. So, children, in the very first paragraph, we understand that there are many animals which are living in the forest. They all are living very happily. They are free to come and go in any part of the forest. Right? They roamed about the jungle. Roaming means moving, walking or going through the forest. They roamed about the jungle. They played together in the open fields without any fear. Right? The peacocks, they were very proud of their dances, but they also admired the fine songs of the cuckoos. Similarly, elephants, they are very mighty animals, but they enjoyed watching the fish swimming in the pool. Similarly, pythons, they were blessed with a very long bodies, but they always spoke well of the fine fur of the flat-footed rabbits. The tiny ants, they tickled the buffaloes. So what we understand here is that though animals were of 2 types, some animals were very beautiful, some animals were very powerful, some animals had very long and strong body, but These animals always were very fine and very good with the other little creatures. They were proud, but at the same time they look upon others well. They cared about others well. There was no fear among the animals in the forest. Let us see next para. Go to page number 2. They often held musical evenings in a large open field. The elephant and the deer danced. The mynas and the parrots sang. The tiger and the bear exhibited gymnastics. They called the moon and his friends, the stars, to be the guest of honors at their musical evenings. Now, this is how the life of animals was going on in the forest. They used to organize musical evenings. And what they used to do? Right, elephants and deer, they used to dance. Whereas mynas and parrots, they used to sing songs. And tiger and bear, they exhibited gymnastics. What is gymnastics? Right, it's a sporting event. It's a sporting event. We do lot of physical exercises in a very beautiful way. It looks very attractive. You would have seen it in number of sporting events like in Olympics. And they also called moon and his friends. Who are the friends of moon? Stars. They called moon and his friends, the stars, as guests of honor for their musical evenings. So this is how the life of the animals was going on in the forest. Let us see further. One day a jackal entered the forest. He was dirty, dangerous, and very cunning too. He told the elephants, "You are the biggest animals in the forest. Why do you want to play with the squirrels and the rabbits?" He poisoned the minds of the peacock, saying, "You are the loveliest bird in the forest. Why do you want to praise the mynas?" The jackal then approached the deer and whispered that the tiger was waiting for a chance to kill them. Now you can see the change in the story. The villain has entered. Who is the villain here? Right, the jackal. The jackal was very dirty, dangerous, and cunning. What do you mean by cunning? Cunning means a person who is very clever in harming others, in deceiving others. One who cheats others very cleverly. Such type of person is called cunning. So the jackal was very dirty, dangerous, and cunning. And what he did? He told the animals, "You are the biggest animal in the forest. Why you are playing with squirrels and rabbits?" And it also poisoned the mind of peacock. And he said that you are the loveliest birds in the forest. Then why are you praising mynas? And again what it do? It went to the deer and whispered, the tiger was looking for a chance to kill you. So what is actually the jackal doing here? The jackal is spreading rumors and it is trying to spoil, it is trying to poison the minds of all animals. Let us see in the next paragraph whether it succeeds or not. What happens to the animal? Whether the animals listen to the words of jackal. See there. Next para. Gradually, all the animals began suspecting one another. Earlier, they had lived together, slept together, and roamed around the forest together. Now, they started to put up boundaries and build fences around their properties. They moved about individually or with their own group. So, we can see here that the plan of the jackal was working. He had poisoned the minds of the animals, and all animals were separated. They started doubting each other. They stopped walking together, roaming together, playing together. Now what? They were moving individually. They built fences. Fences means boundaries around their own properties. And whenever they went outside alone or with their own group members. The animals stopped mingling with each other. So So we can understand here that the peace and harmony in the forest was disturbed. See the next paragraph. Now it was easy for the jackal to hunt the smaller animals and the birds, and when the smaller ones cried out for help, no one came to help them. One by one, the little ones disappeared. The forest slept as the animals were afraid. There were no more musical evenings. The moon was sad. He cried. Now here we see the lot of changes in the forests. The plan of the jackal had worked. It had poisoned the minds of all animals. Now the animals were roaming individually, all alone. So it became very easy for the jackal to hunt, to kill them and eat them. Right? So further what happened? When these animals were being killed by the jackal, those animals, they cried, they called for help, but no one came to help them. As a result, they all started slowly disappearing from the forest. Everything was silent. There were no more musical evenings in the forest. Now seeing this from the sky, the moon, how did moon felt? The moon was sad. He cried. Let us see further. The moon thought for a while and decided to come down among the animals and the birds as a sadhu. Now see here the change. The moon was sad, the moon cried. It decided to come down among the animals, to help animals. And how he came? He came in disguised by changing his appearance. Disguised means changing his appearance. How he came? He came in the form of a sadhu. What is a sadhu? You can see here the image, right? Sadhu means a saint or a sage. Let us continue. The moon thought for a while and decided to come down among the animals and the birds as a sadhu. As soon as the sadhu appeared in the forest, the animals and the birds approached him to narrate their tales of woe. Their tales of woe. As soon as the sadhu came, what did the animals do? They all went to the sadhu and told him their tales of woe. Tales means stories. Woe means extreme sadness. So all the animals started telling their sad stories to the sadhu. What were the stories? The stories how the animals were being troubled by the jackal. They cried, sobbed and blamed each other for disturbing the peace in the forest. The animals are blaming each other for disturbing the peace in the forest. Who is actually responsible for disturbing the peace? Yes, it is the jackal. But what are the animals doing? They are crying, they are sobbing. Now what is crying and sobbing? We know what is crying, right? Very good. What is sobbing? Sobbing is also a form of crying where we don't cry loudly, but we simply sniffle. That is called sobbing. So first actually a child first cries for 5 minutes, but for half an hour he keeps on sobbing. So they cried, sobbed and blamed each other for disturbing the peace in the forest, and the sadhu listened to them. Sadhu listened to them. Turn the page, come to page number 3. Let us see what is happening now. What is sadhu going to do? The sadhu brought together the lions and the rabbits for a common meal. He visited the python and the viper and had a long chat with them. He advised the eagle not to attack the little chicks that had lost their mother. The sadhu accompanied the tiger and the wild bear to the nearest market. He played with the bulbul, the owl and the monkeys. Now this is what the sadhu started. He started bringing together all the animals. He was trying to build the confidence among the animals. He was teaching the animals again to live in peace and harmony. So what did he do? He took lion and rabbit for a common meal. He called the lions, he called the rabbits, made them all sit together and have their meal. Then what he did, he visited viper and python, both are snakes, and had a long chat. Chat means discussion. Had a long chat with them. Then he advised eagle not to kill the chicks, the young birds, the baby birds, right, who had lost their mother. And what he did, the sadhu, he accompanied the tiger and the bear to the nearest market. He moved around with the tiger and the bear and taught them to live together in harmony. And he played with the bulbul, the owl and the monkeys. So this is how Sadhu started bringing all the animals together and brought the peace back to the forest. Now see what is the reaction of the jackal. See the next para. But the jackal was very angry with what the sadhu was doing. He did not want the animals to live in peace and harmony. So he was waiting for an opportunity to attack the sadhu. Now that was the reaction of the jackal. Jackal did not like what the sadhu was doing, right? What had jackal done? The jackal had poisoned the minds of the animals. He had separated all animals and he was killing and eating the smaller animals. But now Sadhu was bringing back all the animals together. Now this was troubling for the jackal. He did not like it. And what did the jackal plan? He was looking for an opportunity. He was looking for a chance to kill the Sadhu. Let us see whether he gets that chance. One day, the animals, insects and birds held an emergency meeting and they unanimously decided to approach the sadhu and pleaded with him to kill the jackal. The sadhu said, "I will not kill the jackal, but will help you in a different way." Now this is what is going on in the forest. All the animals once again came together. They had an emergency meeting and they decided to go and talk to the sadhu. What they do? They decided unanimously. See, there is a new word. Unanimously means unitedly or all together, without any opposition. When something is decided all together without any opposition, it is called unanimously, means unitedly. So what they do? They unanimously decided to approach the sadhu and they pleaded him, they requested him to kill the jackal. And what was Sadhu's answer? He said, "I will not kill the jackal, but will help you in a different way." So let us see how Sadhu is going to help the animals. See the next para. When the sun went to sleep. What do you mean by the sun went to sleep? It was night time. When the sun went to sleep, the jackal came to the house of the hens to take a few of them for his supper. The sadhu, who had been lodging nearby, came out of the house and spoke to the jackal. "Take me today for your meal. Take me today for your meal." Now are you understanding what is happening? It was night time and the jackal came out for supper. It went to the house of hens. It wanted to kill some hens and eat. But Sadhu, who was living nearby, lodging means living nearby. Sadhu, who was lodging nearby, he came to the jackal and said, "Leave the hens. Leave the hens, and instead of them, take me as your supper. Take me as your supper." Now the jackal was looking for a chance and he got the chance today. So what did he do? See, the jackal, who had been waiting for this opportunity, dragged the sadhu and ran into the jungle. He took the sadhu to a lonely place, torn him into pieces and ate him up. The animals were very sad, angry and disappointed with what had happened to the sadhu. They were afraid that the hungry jackal would appear again the next day. Now that is what is happening. When the Sadhu said, leave the hens and take me as your supper, the jackal got the chance. The jackal got the opportunity. He attacked the Sadhu. He dragged means pulled, dragged him into the forest, killed him, tore him into pieces and ate the Sadhu. The animals saw this thing. They were very sad. They didn't understand what to do. They knew that this hungry jackal will come again tomorrow to kill them. And now they had no one to help him. But let us see what happened next. Then they heard a strange noise. The animals heard a strange noise. All of them ran in that direction. What they saw surprised them. So animals heard a noise. The noise was coming from jackal. So they all ran in that direction, and what they saw surprised them. They saw the stomach of the jackal growing bigger and bigger. The stomach of the jackal was growing bigger and bigger. How much bigger? It continued to bloat until it burst. It continued to bloat. Bloat means growing or swelling. The stomach of the jackal, it continued to bloat. It continued to swell. How long? Till it burst. So the jackal died. What was inside his stomach? Who was there inside his stomach? The Sadhu. So what happened? It continued to bloat until it burst. Then they heard a soft voice. When the stomach of the jackal burst, they heard a soft voice. May my animals, birds and insects live in peace and harmony. May there be no fences around you. May you sing and dance once again. Remember me and be not afraid. Whose voice was that? Very good. That was the voice of Sadhu. The Sadhu had come out of the stomach of the jackal, and he said in a very soft voice, what he said? May my animals, birds and insects live in peace and harmony. May there be no fences around them. He is urging the animals, let no fences be there. And what he said? May you sing and dance once again. May you sing and dance once again. Remember me and be not afraid. There is no need to be afraid. Just keep on remembering me. When they looked up at the sky, they saw the moon shining brilliantly, spreading milky brightness over the earth. So all the animals looked upside in the sky. They saw the moon there. Who is Sadhu? Sadhu was the moon who came down in the disguise in the form of a Sadhu. Now again the Sadhu went back to the sky as a moon. So when they looked up the sky, they saw the moon shining brightly, spreading milky brightness over the earth. The animals once again started to roam, sing and sleep in peace. They broke down the fences which they had built. They invited the moon and the stars for their cultural evenings. Now that is how the lesson comes to end, and we see that peace and harmony is finally restored in the forest, and once again all the animals were living happily without any fear. Okay children, so that is how the story ends. So that was all about from the very first lesson, peace and harmony. I hope all of you enjoyed reading the lesson. Dear students, in the second part of the video, I will be discussing the glossary, that is the vocabulary and grammar. Till then, have a good time. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.